Being young and black in America.
But when they come together on this team, it's one team, one sound.
Dealing with racism.
I was like one of the only black kids in my class. I remember sitting there shaking. I was so mad.
And the sting of discrimination.
My skin color is not a weapon. I can't take my skin off my body and kill you.
There you go, jab.
Finding the strength and support to rise above.
My vision was to get as many kids as I can off the streets.
Determined to live their best lives.
I use music to express my feelings and emotions.
I believe it's critical to use your differences to your actual advantage, and instead of trying to fit in, just be yourself.
Welcome to Race, Listen, Learn, Live. I'm Kelly Jackson. Our 5 on Your Side series focuses on issues dealing with race, diversity, and equity in our community. For the first time, we're talking with the younger generation, African-American teens. In our next hour, we're tackling a number of issues, including what it's like to be a young black man and woman in America. We'll discuss how they deal with discrimination and racism. We also hear about their accomplishments and the village that embraces them. In this show, we get real. It is their opportunity for their voices to be heard. While you watch this special, I hope you'll learn and discuss with your own kids. We begin with racism as they share their own stories and how it affected them. Okay, so I'm going to start off with a pretty heady question. Can you share an instance of racism or bias? How did you handle it? And then a follow-up question would be, how did it affect you?
I can go ahead and start that off.
Mary.
So I'm African-American, yes, but my family's from West Africa. They're from Togo, West Africa. So kind of was the only African student in elementary school, throughout middle school, just growing up being the only African kid. So there were always like just racist comments being made. I didn't know what to say, didn't know how to react, didn't know how to respond to those type of comments that were being made. But growing up, I kind of just taught myself how to stand up for myself without it being like, without reacting in a negative way, just letting them know politely, like, hey, it's not cool. I always came home crying, I'm not gonna lie to you, because I didn't know what else to do. I couldn't tell my parents, what could they do? Barely spoke English. Now I know how to speak up, I know how to stand for myself, and I know who I am. I'm a beautiful young African-American woman. I can't let nobody tell me different.
Okay. I just want to piggyback on that. I grew up in a predominantly black community. Like my beginning years of schooling, I went to predominantly black schools until my junior year. And that's when I transferred to Parkway Central, and that school is predominantly white. So it was a whole different atmosphere for me. And around that time, I decided I wanted to go into computer science. In that field, I would be the minority, being an African-American female. So my junior year of high school, at the beginning of the year, I decided I would take an intro to computer science class. And actually the first semester, Parkway Central had like a big old walkout for having racial slurs on the bathroom walls, and like the news, you know, like and it was just like a different environment for me, because I never like did a walkout or had that situation happen. So it was just like shocking. But in my computer science class, my first semester, I would always like help anybody else in that classroom, like my classmates, or when anybody have a question. So I was sitting next to this girl, because she was my shoulder partner, and I had a question, and she basically like told me to basically handle it myself. And at first, like, I didn't know how to feel, and I felt like isolated because I was the only African-American woman in that class. So I did feel isolated, but when she asked me a question, I didn't give her the same treatment that she gave me. I responded respectfully, and I gave her the answer, and I just brushed it off, because I can't let little situations affect my mood or affect the positivity I give to others, because if I did that, it will ruin me instead of like ruining her.
I've never like out front had a verbal encounter of racism, but I always have gotten that, since I'm the more preppy type, more formal, more like put together than a lot of people would say our generation is, and people, young black men our ages. I've gotten the comment that, like, you know, like, you don't have to be like that, or you don't have to be like that. But I always have gotten that, since I'm the more preppy type, more formal, more like put together than a lot of people would say our generation is, and people, young black men our ages. I've gotten the comment that, like, you don't have to be like that, or you don't have to be like that. I've gotten the comment that like you're like a white black kid or things like that. And even just the other day, so even a white kid and a black kid was like, you give white boy, and I was like, oh. And that kind of hurt because I like to be strong and confident in my skin color and my blackness, and even though I haven't endured it because of I'm a lighter skin complexion, the way I speak, the way I handle myself, I tried like not to let it beat me up. At the same time, it kind of hurt at that moment in time because I'm confident in my blackness.
Do you feel then that people have those stereotypes of what a black male teen should be?
Absolutely, and I wish we could break it, but at the same time, it's kind of like the new normal because of all the situations that you see going on now.
Like growing up as a young black man is scary, especially when you put in different environments. As of now, I reside in East St. Louis, Illinois. For those who do know, it is a predominantly black city. I think it's like a black city. So, but I also have family in surrounding cities such as like Belleville, Illinois, Fairview Heights, and Swansea, which is all predominantly white communities. So this was around Thanksgiving. I went over my family's house for dinner, and I was riding around with my cousins, but my mother had invited me over for a plate. So they live in a neighborhood that is not typical, not believed to be typical for a black person to live in. So I don't have any tents on my car, so you can see me. It's around like 10 o'clock at night. So I get pulled over. I didn't violate anything, like I was doing the speed limit. I didn't even pull out of the cul-de-sac yet, but I seen the unmarked car. It was an unmarked car. I seen the car, and that really like made me, all right, make sure I'm doing everything that I'm supposed to do, because if I do get pulled over, chances are I'm gonna get a ticket. So the cop, followed me all the way out of the city, out of his jurisdiction, and then I was just trying to make sure I wasn't being followed. So I just turned a couple corners, something like that, and I guess he caught on to that. So then I end up going to the light, and I see him again. So he proceeded to follow me, and then I pull up around the corner where my aunt lives, and he pulls up next to me like, oh, what you doing in this neighborhood? And I'm like, oh, what? Like, didn't pull me over, didn't turn on the lights, and then he pulled up to the side of me like we just two random people on the street. I can say because it was a holiday, like I understand, I'm supposed to be out that late, but it's like, you ask me like what I'm doing in the neighborhood, and I'm just like, I'm going home. I live here. Of course I say that because I don't want you to, follow me to where I actually live and you steady follow me around. So I decided I'd stay the night from there.
I grew up in South City, but like my gym was in South County. And like when it came time for awards, like the rest of my teammates, and like a lot of people on other teams, got perfect scores. And like my coach congratulated me for like doing a really good job at like my routine and everything. But I didn't get like a great score like like any of my other teammates. And like I just so happened to be the only black person. And the judge panel was like predominantly white. And so like after that, like I felt like I didn't like give out like what I should have. Like I didn't think that after that I did a good routine when I actually did. And like my mom and my parents and my coach, they just like congratulated me and told me that like it was like that's just what it is, but like deep down inside like I actually did do good and like gave out a good routine and effort.
So a lot of my instances happen at school, and it's kind of sad I have to pick like exactly which one to talk about. But in 6th grade, it was English class, and we were reading this book. I'm not sure what the name was, it doesn't really matter. But the N-word was in the book, and my teacher, she said, well, my white teacher, she's like, oh, I'm not gonna read the word out loud because, it's a harsh word with a big like history and it's a slur. But she decided instead to write the word on the board in big red letters. And I was like one of the only black kids in my class, and I remember sitting there shaking. I was so mad. Like I'm getting mad just thinking about it. And like tears were like balling up my eyes. It was the teacher that I like respected, whose class I enjoyed coming to, a class that I love. and she went ahead and did something like this to, like, I know it wasn't personally to, like, offend me, but there's no way in your right mind for you to think that that's okay, and for you to you've been doing this for years and expect that there's not going to be a response or retaliation from this. All respect I had for that teacher left that day. Like, there's no going back from that.
Our community is full of organizations to build teenagers up. In our next hour, we'll highlight some of those groups, some even started by teens themselves. In the Parkway School District, a small group of students wanted to express themselves through what is called stepping. Now the district step team has grown into an award-winning group where students exude pride, discipline, and commitment.
We run this show. This is our time to show how we attack.
With every step, every movement, these students are very deliberate in their purpose.
The motto is to better our education with a step.
You want them to stay like this?
Gina Covington-James is the Parkway School District Step Team Director. She also teaches business and technology in the district.
Let's go!
These dedicated district-wide students make up a high school and middle school team. They've taken huge steps since 2008.
When we're doing this,
that's when a few students asked her husband, BJ Holiday, to check them out.
Let's go!
Like, listen, they're asking you to come every weekend and you're going, you should support that. And so he's like, well, you gonna do it with me? I'm like, sure, no problem.
Everything you doing with stepping is hard.
The art of stepping, and it is an art, is rich in history.
It was a way for Africans or slaves even here to communicate with each other. So, one beat, means master's coming. 2 beats, lunchtime.
It has grown through the decades, moving through the black college Greek system to what you see today, incorporating history and dance.
We have kids who are honor roll kids, and they're kind of all over, whether it's economically or if it's academically. When they come together on this team, it's one team, one sound.
Both teams consistently place when they compete across the country, often taking the top spot. But excellence is also stressed when they're not competing.
We ain't done yet!
The numbers on the back of their shirts represent the year they'll graduate. Middle schooler Kennedy Johnson, class of 2027.
She's a swimmer. She plays basketball. She's in several orchestras, including one at Webster University, as well as the STEP team, straight A student.
Everything that we're doing, we're going for perfection.
Success, that's about more than steps they take. It's about building a community.
We graduate them. We grow with their parents. We grow with them. We laugh, we cry, we go at it with each other. So it is truly a STEP family.
For the young black men, what do you want people to know about who you are? There are the stereotypes, as you were saying, you see on the news all the time, young black men, juveniles who are committing crimes, or people are afraid when they see someone walking down the street, may clutch their purse a little tighter. Some of those stereotypes. What do you want people to know about black male teens?
Well, overall, I just want to say my skin color is not a weapon. I can't take my skin off my body and kill you. So being scared of somebody, how they look, I understand, you were raised a certain way, but just because I look like who I am don't mean that I can portray it. It's like being stereotypes. Like, what's the point of stereotypes? Why would you assume what I am when I can show you who I am? But a lot of times, the color of my skin don't do that for me. A lot of times, the color of my skin really decides somebody's opinion of me before I can even speak.
I value my intelligence. I value my personality. I value who I am. I don't see my high level of intelligence or the way I speak as a sign of being whitewashed or being raised by white parents. It's a sign of my own personal growth and my own personal stride to be the best who I am, my own personal goals to break through those boundaries and those stereotypes and just show the world that I am more than what you may think I am.
What I want them to know is I want to show you the complete opposite. I want to show you that I'm not what you think, that I'm above and beyond what you think I am, that I'm not the negatives, I'm not the thug, the hoodlum, the hood.
You got to be comfortable in your own skin to succeed.
I want to ask the young black women too, what do you want people to know who you are? I'm just throwing out, you know, the stereotypes that they sometimes stereotype as for black women, the angry black woman trope. What do you want them to know about your accomplishments and being a black teen?
I did a project about racism in the cheer community. So kind of that and the differences between stump and shake and your typical cheerleading. If you know what stump and shake cheer is, it's cheer is just done with steps, claps, you're loud, you're being who you are. And a lot of people at my school see it as foolishness. They don't like it. They think it's just nasty. They think it's ghetto. They think it looks unorganized. They think we look mean, that we want to start stuff. And I had to defend not only myself, not only my team, but the whole, just black girls in general, that that's not who we are. Yeah, we perform that type of way. It's because we like doing it. We know at the end of the day, it's all love to both teams, to the other black girls, of course. We have to hype each other up. That's the only way we're gonna do it. We pushing through, like, it's just crazy. It's crazy to think about, but yeah.
Hashtag Black Girl Magic.
Black Girl Magic.
What does that mean? What does that mean, Black Girl Magic, to you?
I feel like it means like living within yourself and like becoming like who you are, like not being afraid to like show who you are, like the things you like to do, like your accomplishments, because it's not something that's like always like talked about. Like if you accomplish something, not everyone is going to talk about it, but it would mean more to me because like I'm black and like, oh, I did this and people thought I couldn't when I really could.
I was at a pre-college program this last summer at Carnegie Mellon University, and I did 4 weeks at the university for computer science. And the first day I got there, one of the directors, she thought I was in theater. And I was like, no, I'm here for computer science. But I didn't like think none of it. I just brushed it past because people gonna have like their own thoughts or their own perspective on how they see you, because she don't know me like, you know, how I am. So she just looking from the outside. But I don't know, I'm just still dress up how I want to do and show my intelligence, and I'm proving it.
I was gonna say that black women have a very unique situation with the intersectionality of being a black person and being a woman. Something that for being in the black community, there's all these great black men around us, but sometimes, not saying any people here, but like they aren't recognized for the work that we do. Whether that's in the home, whether that's out in the workforce, whether that's taking care of the kids, whether that's making sure everybody is right before we put ourselves first. I think it's really unique for us to be just sitting here and being proud of who we are and going beyond what the expectations and stereotypes are people are putting on us, and that black people aren't monolithic, that we aren't one type. It doesn't matter if we fit into this stereotype, this or not, or if we break out of that mold, and there's no one way to be black. I feel like the fact that I'm black because I'm black, and that's it. Like I don't need to prove anything to anyone, or I just have to prove something to myself.
For someone who is just on the outside looking in, how, like as a black man, how can we support you?
Just continue to, you know, cheer us on when we do that stuff. If we get a good grade in a class, don't say, oh, you just smart, that's why. You a smart African-American young woman. You doing it because you forcing yourself to do it, and congrats on that, you know?
The fact that, Jeremy, you even asked, you know, what can we do to support you, is a huge step in the right direction. College move-in day can be chaotic. Parents running here and there, hauling boxes and bags, students feeling the angst that comes with starting their college journey. As Sydney Stallworth shows us, there's one group making the process a lot easier for students, one trunk at a time.
a program changing lives.
I received my trunk in 2011.
I received my trunk in 2018.
Better Love Yourself is a nonprofit organization that awards first-time college students with a trunk full of tools to build a strong future. Stuffed full of dorm room necessities, the trunks hold everything from cleaning supplies to bedding. Better Love Yourself has programs in 7 major cities and has given away more than 2,500 trunks so far. The work is rooted in a heartfelt history for Teresa Griffin. This renowned singer-songwriter has performed alongside the likes of Patti LaBelle and Isaac Hayes, but tells me her crowning achievement is founding Better Love Yourself.
My dad was a minister, and the ladies, the mothers of the church, put together a trunk for me, and I still have my trunk.
The trunks are just the beginning. When students receive their trunks, they're in for a day full of activities, music, and mentorship.
This is just really an amazing day.
They leave out with a certain level of enthusiasm and that they feel a little bit more prepared than what they were when they came in.
A lot of times we will find ourselves in anxious moments or just overwhelming ourselves with the thoughts of tomorrow.
Malik Good knows about those tough days firsthand. The loss of family members and other struggles have challenged him during college.
I don't think I would have made it as well as I did without having a circle of supporters.
Much of that support comes from branches on the Better Love Yourself family tree, rooted by a strong trunk. Set to graduate from Lindenwood University, Malik wants other students to know perseverance pays off.
In December, that will be proof. I will be living proof that that works and you can make it.
I actually know I came a long way because I could have been homeless.
A place giving young people the support they need to change their lives.
Good job. Pass it to your partner.
And a boxing gym that's teaching teens how to be their best in and out of the ring. First, meet our panel. Zion Murphy is a senior at Maplewood Richmond Heights High School who has an interest in meteorology. A graduate of the AIM High program and a Boys Hope, Girls Hope scholar, Zion enjoys volunteering and performing in his high school's honors choir. India Griffin is a senior at Parkway Central High School. She's into anything STEM and plans to major in computer science in college. India grew up in Hazelwood. She's a member of the National Honor Society and mentors middle school students.
Welcome back to Race, Listen, Learn, Live. Now to an organization in Dutchtown that's changing the lives of teens and young adults, many of whom are at risk and unhoused. Laura Barczewski shares how Restoration House supports each person who walks through its doors.
The Dutchtown Melvin Theater was a dumping ground for years until activists saw its potential to help the community. They restored the building so in return, they could restore dignity in what felt like a hopeless place.
That's something that we value at Restoration House, is that everyone truly matters. Every life has purpose.
It's a place where young people from 18 to 27 pick themselves up and start over.
If someone needs help, maybe trying to re-enroll in school, whatever you need help with, we have our doors open.
What kind of situations do you find that a lot of these young people you help are coming to you in?
We actually do have young people who are street homeless. And one thing that is like an overarching concept that we see is the lack of support.
Tiana Willis's friends call her TT. She knows firsthand how lack of support can destroy a person. She lost her mom in 2018.
Ever since I lost her, I've probably been moving from place to place, from friends to family.
TT was about to give up. Then a helping hand changed her life.
And me and my brother was walking to Motor Mart, and Tim approached us, and he said something about food first. So they drew me in.
Bam, bam.
They found a place they felt safe, supported, and could have fun.
Boom, boom, boom.
When just steps outside the door, it's not always safe.
Half the time I have to walk home or either walk to the store, and these guys out here shooting at each other. Like, it's a dangerous situation.
In the past year, Restoration House has helped more than 400 people like TT and her brother with meals, resources, and case management, not just here in South City, but all over St. Louis. They helped Titi get her birth certificate and social security card so she could get a job.
Now I'm at AutoZone. I'm a CSR, a part-time sales manager.
Her next goal is college. She wants to be a teacher or counselor, helping young people just like her.
I could have been homeless. I could have been on drugs, selling my body or anything. Instead of doing that, I actually took an initiative to control my own life. And when I take control of my own life, I feel like I can do anything.
You kind of feel like a chameleon sometimes, that you have to
fit in.
Yeah, but I
want to. I like that.
And it is, because as a teen, you want to fit in. You don't want to be on the sidelines, and especially with all of you, because you are student leaders. So how do you do that?
I've learned to embrace it because I know as a person, and I know in my heart and my soul that I'm overqualified. So if you don't want to be associated with me because I am me, and I have my differences from you, but if you don't want to be part of my group or you don't want to be a part of my circle just because I am me, you can have it because you the one missing out. I'm the prize. And I'm going to embrace what I have to offer.
One thing that I want to say, these people that we calling friends, there might be some that might stay, y'all, but like as we get older and go out there into the real life, we're going to look back at it and just laugh, because I don't want to say that you need friends to be who you need to be, but like it's all about you. It's all about your self-motivation, what you want to do. If you want to code switch, like sometimes that might be good in certain situations, but I had to teach myself I'm not gonna try to talk all, hi, how are you, in front of my white volleyball teammates because that's how they're all talking. I'm gonna talk like how I talk because that's who I am. And if they see that as ghetto or loud or I'm just gonna be like, okay, that's who I am.
I don't try to fit in. I know that I transferred to a predominantly white school my junior year of high school, and at first it was different because I wanted to find a crowd and I didn't want to be by myself. So I would try to like go towards like the black people at that school, because the white people, it wasn't, it was just different because they made me feel like isolated at their school. So I try to go towards like the black people where I feel like more comfortable at, and they really wasn't thinking like how I was, so I was still like isolated in that group. And on top of that, they already had like their friend group, so I just felt even more isolated. So so at the start of the school, I was uncomfortable with the isolation, but as time went on, I didn't care what other people thought, and I was fine being by myself. Like I would sit by myself in the lunchroom. I was completely fine with it. Even in the classrooms, like I would talk and I'm like friendly to people, but if they don't talk back, I don't like take it to heart. And if they don't want to, like interact with me as much as like the other people in my classroom, I don't take it to heart, because I know in the future, or I have bigger goals outside of just like that moment.
I believe it's critical to use your differences to your actual advantage, and instead of trying to fit in, just be yourself. I actually transferred from Rittner to DeSmet, and so while I was at DeSmet, I was literally like the only black kid in like all black 2 of my classes. Especially I was in admissions too, and so it was a really culture shock for me seeing all these like different like preppy high class white boys. Where me, I'm the new black kid who transferred at the semester. And I remember for like the first 2 days, I had toothpaste staying on my blazer, so I was so scared to take my jacket off. But cause that fear of being judged. And so, but for me, I recognized that I was in the minority quite extremely, but I used that as my own personal fuel, because I knew that everybody was going to look at me different, so I would give them absolutely no excuse to even think like that. And so I stayed in my academics, stayed to myself. Thank God that the minority population at DeSmet, the black community at DeSmet, they're super well tight, they're well knitted. And so eventually, once I got out of that new student transition phase, I got to be more involved with them and other activities like the BSU and choir at DeSmet. And eventually, when I finished my freshman year, I had one of the highest GPAs in my class.
Knowing Zion and knowing that he was that kid that always got the good grades, I'm like, hey, keep it up, because you representing what all of us can't do.
A local dad is reaching kids from the ring. Robert Townsend takes us to a North St. Louis County boxing gym that's inspiring both boys and girls.
Step inside the Leon Calvin boxing gym and you will feel his energy.
Give them 20 for they can save some in the tank.
See him on the go.
What you want to do next?
And immediately be inspired
there you go.
By Derek Calvin's passion
Keep going.
For kids.
Why'd you want to do it? Why did I want to do it? Because I felt like someone had to do it. The kids needed help. Bring it across.
2 years ago, Derek started this boxing gym near West Florissant Avenue and Chambers in honor of his late cousin, Leon Calvin.
Leon Calvin!
Calvin was the oldest son of St. Louis native and former heavyweight boxing champ Leon Spinks. Calvin was murdered in East St. Louis in 1990.
My vision was to get as many kids as I can off the streets and get them to a program, something positive.
They range from 5 to 17. Derek Calvin believes every boy and girl who steps into the ring leaves here a better person in many ways. Calvin estimates during the 2 years he's run this gym, he's helped nearly 200 children and teenagers.
We have some kids that's here just to be out the street.
1, 2.
We have some here to compete. Jab. We have some here just want to meet a friend. And we have some here who want to be a professional boxer. 1, 2.
Twice a week, Calvin, his wife,
Good job. Pass it to your partner.
and coaches teach boxing and more.
Leadership, respecting their elders, respecting home, graduating from school.
Let's go, guys. Let's go.
How to become leaders.
We represent sisterhood, brotherhood.
Keeps me motivated.
14-year-old Cody Wolf wants to become a professional boxer one day.
It helps me to keep on pushing and to never quit.
Am I holding it right?
14-year-old Lamora Denwood loves everything about being in the ring.
I just want to do what I got to do in there and win.
It's fun, yes.
Young people on their way to becoming winners in and out of the ring thanks to the man they call their champ.
And what makes you proud of this program?
Seeing the kids happy. One big family.
I target specifically urban youth because I was one.
Music lessons where students learn more than how to play instruments. First, let's meet our panel. Mary Akakpolado is a senior at Maplewood Richmond Heights High School. She's a cheerleader and enjoys volleyball and track. Mary volunteers her time with a number of different groups. She is on the honor roll and has perfect attendance. Mary plans to attend college and study astronomy. Jeremy Avan is a senior at East St. Louis High School. He serves as the president of a senior class and is a member of the National Honor Society. Jeremy is on the Superintendent Student Advisory Council. He plans to attend Morehouse College in Atlanta to study business and finance. Zoe Hall is a senior at Clayton High School. She serves as student body vice president and is a member of the Black Student Union. She's active in all sorts of activities, including speech and debate, robotics, and the Clayton Coding Club. Zoe is still deciding on which college she'll attend next fall. She plans to study computer science. Back to Race, Listen, Learn, Live. It's no secret music feeds the soul. A woman in East St. Louis is using it as a tool to motivate young people. She provides them with affordable string lessons and an outlet to keep them on a positive path. Travis Cummings shows us how she's changing lives one note at a time.
1, 2, ready, play.
In every string,
C sharp.
There's a sense of safety.
I use music to express my feelings and emotions.
Open it.
14-year-old Tony Kwankwalala Jr. finds magic in the melody.
Go.
I play over 14 different instruments.
His journey hasn't always been easy.
Many times I've been put down in a lower spot than I should have been because of my race.
2 years ago, Kwankwalala and his younger brother and sister found a space to be proud young black musicians.
Just playing an instrument could be challenging for us sometimes. Like,
getting into the programs or playing with orchestras.
Good job, Anila.
It puts me out of stress when I'm like angry about something or sad about something.
They found that freedom in the Inner Ear Foundation in East St. Louis.
In Treble Clef. What note is that?
A program 30-year-old Rosalind Rogers started 7 years ago.
My junior year in college is when I now realized that my focus, I wanted to be on making music education accessible for inner city youth.
Rogers teaches about 100 children from ages 3 to 18 every year. Through her program, students receive free instruments and up to 6 hours of instruction each week.
I target specifically urban youth because I was one. I was one without all the resources necessary to put me in an advantageous place in the classical music world.
So from selling her own violin to build funding, to fostering fruitful partnerships to provide a place to play, Rogers is giving her students that chance.
These kids have had an opportunity to play before the mayor, the governor, the Senate. Carlton, you know how to play the F sharp?
It's not just about hitting the right note.
2. What it starts to build is grit. A student that can say no because they have something to do.
2, 3, 4. If they're at this rehearsal or if they're practicing this, then I know that they're not doing X, Y, and Z, which could be very negatively impacting them.
Having someone like Miss Rosalind as a role model, yeah, it's definitely giving me a boost of confidence.
And that's the magic of music.
What happens in my classroom is exactly what can happen in our communities.
I have to ask you guys, the African proverb, it takes a village to raise a child, to have that support system. I have interviewed many people who have been that village, but I haven't talked to the villagers, the people who are coming up. So who has been your support system?
One big support system I've had is my family. I'm originally from Memphis, Tennessee. I moved up here to St. Louis in 2014, just right in the time of Mike Brown, so it was like really, really scary.
In the beginning of my 8th grade year, right before I was starting football season, my mother had passed and we had moved back down here. So, you know, I often come into contact with people who's, you know, willing or said that they're willing to give a helping hand. But it's like I was also taught that, you know, every hand that is reached out to help is not a hand that'll help. Sometimes that hand will bite you. So it was really hard for me to try to distinguish the people that's actually trying to help me, you know, the people that's the village. So for me, it's been my siblings. Like my siblings, because they are also affected by the tragedy, we are able to uplift each other, you know. As a family, you know, you still have, you know, internal issues, but it's nothing, I feel that it's nothing that we can't work through as a village because we act as a village for each other.
Which brings me to this. Everyone that I'm looking at right here, all 8 of you, you have such confidence. And growing up for me, my parents always said, and I'm sure your family does too, you have to do 100% more to succeed. And the hashtag Black Excellence, I've heard a couple of you say this. What does Black excellence mean to you, and where does your confidence come from?
Okay, so where my confidence stems from, definitely my parents. Like, they always told me and my sister affirmations, like, you're the champ, the greatest is here, like, you're the best of the best. And I always thought, like, oh, they're just saying this just because of my parents. But like those subliminal messages, like, really instilled in my mind. Like, I walk into school, I'm like, yeah, I'm that girl. Like, we're all those people, like, period. Sorry, but like, I feel like it really stems from home and like the people you surround yourself with, and that they're adding to your character and they're not taking away from you, and really has to do with the people you surround yourself with. But as for like Black excellence, I believe it's basically everybody sitting up here, all the opportunities that we are able to partake in, and not only have the ability to do, but also thrive and go beyond the expectations of what people have for us.
Mine essentially grew from the school system. Ever since I was little in the elementary school, I've always been super involved, always working like alongside with the principal a lot of times, alongside with teachers and everything, teachers' assistants and everything. So as I worked my way up the ranks, building these relationships and doing these things that a lot of students don't get to do, and hearing directly from those people, district superintendents and board members and principals and everything, that we value you, what you're doing, and it's like the work that you're doing doesn't go unmissed. Your selflessness, the things you do for other people, but the greatness that you show, the representation that you have, that all boosts my confidence even more, and assures me that even though times may get low, I still have the power and I still have the strength to keep moving forward, to keep doing my best, my greatest, to keep pushing forward, pushing towards the mark to get where I want to be, but get it not just for me, but to grow my community.
Yeah, you're going to be a school superintendent.
That's the goal.
So my example of Black excellence is basically, exceeding those prestigious opportunities, putting yourself in those rooms that most Black people aren't portrayed as being qualified to go in and being comfortable in your skin. I get my confidence from now myself, and then I get the confidence from more so like really my sister. I can say like, even if it's not, her saying, oh, good job, you do this and do that. It's like her critiquing those little things really helped me, because I know that like I'm not only trying to do this to not let her down, but I'm doing this for myself.
Most of like my confidence comes from within like my immediate family, like my siblings, my grandma, and my dad. When my mom passed away in 2020, like I kind of like went downhill and like had a hard time like finding myself again, and like that immediate family, like, and like a couple like of outside family members just like reassured me and like was trying to like uplift me to like keep doing what I was doing, and like knowing that like I have potential, and like just like trying to go find it.
So my family's from West Africa. They moved here in 2005. And when my dad got here, he started working, but he went straight into school. He's big on school, loves school. The reason why he moved to America was for his kids, so they can have that American education, achieve what they want to achieve, dream what they want to dream, and be who they want to be. And that really is one of my biggest motivations.
India?
My parents, they helped support me through like everything I went through, like even when like school, or even like the new directions I wanted to go to. Like if I wanted to be like a chef, they would support me with that. If I changed my mind, I wanted to be an architect, they would support me with that. So by supporting me and not making me feel like I have to do a specific thing, it helps me be open-minded. It helps me go to them if I need to support, because some people don't have that, and it makes them feel more isolated or more closed off and think they have to do everything by themselves. And also, I have a relationship with God, so He helps me with like my strength to do all the rigorous classes. He helps me like help raise my little sisters and like teach them properly, because a lot of people in society aren't taught properly, and that affects their future and their outcomes. So having those type of relationships, it helps build me up as a person and help build other people up.
Probably for me, like my biggest inspiration or motivation had to be my grandma. Because like I lost my mom when I was 1, and so my grandma took me and my 4 siblings and moved us out of the city into the county in an effort to make a better life for us. And so growing up, I watched her like meet ends meet in her best attempts to support me and my other siblings, and she installed such like critical values and principles that she knew that I would need in my life, because she knew that she was not going to be here for the entirety of my life. Unfortunately, she did pass right before the start of my freshman year. I honestly didn't like recover from that well until now, mostly because of my boys so girls whole family. And most recently, this past 6 months, and so I really do thank Boys So Girls Out for like just helping me through my times of trouble and providing me the resources to be the best person that I possibly can be.
My mom always tells me, know who you are and whose you are, knowing who I am, knowing that I'm a strong Black woman, knowing that I'm in a room that, not everybody's vouching for me, knowing that I have to keep going on with this movement, keep going on with helping the future generations, and for knowing that like whose I am. It's knowing like don't act a fool, because that's her name attached to me, but also like I'm part of this widespread community of strong black women who march forth for me to have this opportunity to go to school that I go to go to the events that I go to, be able to apply to the colleges I am, so not forgetting where I came from.
We didn't really see a lot of characters that looked like us.
Creating stories of color, authors on a mission to inspire children. First, meet our panel. Kyle Williams is a senior at Rittner High School. He's president of the National Honor Society and a member of Future Business Leaders of America. Kyle participates in symphonic band, jazz band, and is drum major for Rittner's marching band. He wants to be a math teacher and one day a district superintendent. Ariel Easterwood is a senior at Parkway North High School who says her favorite subject is history. Ariel participates in volleyball, basketball, and track, which she hopes to play in college. After high school, she plans to attend college and major in criminal justice. Cameron Turner is a senior at Lindbergh High School. Cam has a passion for music and business. His favorite class is entrepreneurship. Next fall, Cam will attend Morgan State University, an historically black college and university in Baltimore, Maryland. You all are seniors, so you are going to be going out into the world. You'll be graduating soon. How do you hope to change the narrative? In what way do you hope to change the stereotypes that have been put upon us?
Hopefully just getting the education, being a strong voice of education, an advocate for what you know and what you believe, and what's right in a sense. Just being an advocate and an educator to make people aware.
Zoe?
I plan to pursue a degree in computer science and hopefully become like a data analyst working with clinical studies regarding the maternal health of our black mothers. So I really want to do work with that, helping reduce the black maternal mortality rate and the crisis going on.
Zion?
For me, I do plan to pursue a degree in meteorology. And kind of like my core behind all of that is just proving to the world that for black men, it's the only path to success is not being like a rapper, an athlete, or some type of eccentric character. Just like everybody else, all you need is just a book.
I want to go to HBCU. I'm going to go to Morgan State University and partake in the Army ROTC route and become an Army officer. I want to use that to kind of remove the stigma of African America is not like in America, you know? Like, we do love this country, but it's just the government and the way it's built and has brought us down all over these years. So I kind of want to eliminate that stereotype of African Americans not liking their country by joining the military myself.
For me, I want to go to HBCU as well, and I want to pursue a degree in business administration and finance. For that reason, it's like basically being black and empowered, you know, basically going into a field of administration so I can show that, you know, just because, you know, I'm black doesn't mean that I can't be my own boss. So I feel that being black is a privilege, and I'm using that to the best of my ability.
So I'm going to college for computer science, and by me going to college in a STEM major and being an African American woman, I know like the way I dress or the way I look, it probably don't seem like I'm as intelligent or as my other peers, and I know how it feels to be isolated from being in, you know, predominantly white school. So in the future, I hope to build an organization for minorities that do feel isolated so they can have somewhere to go to with people that look like them, because in the STEM field, especially like younger people, they want to look at people that looks like them doing the things because it builds their confidence to know that they are capable of doing those things.
I don't know what I want to do yet, and I don't want to say that I'm just leaving it in God's hands, but like I'm letting it flow. Like I know that I'm going to college. I know that I'm going to be attending college upcoming fall. So what I can do is prepare myself for it, continue being who I am, continue doing what I'm doing to achieve any upcoming goals that will be set for myself.
I plan to major in criminal justice, and like growing up or like in my like immediate family or like just family in general, there's not like many people that I see like going into that field. And I do have a cousin that works like in the courthouse building, and like she tells me like about it and stuff, and I just think it's really interesting. So me not seeing like a lot of people of like my color or just like women in general like going into that field, I think it's something for me to do that like I think I can make a difference.
With everything happening in the world right now, it's more important than ever to inspire love and acceptance into the hearts of our children. Mike Bush introduces us to two local sisters who are doing just that.
Perfectly crafted, everyone is unique.
At the Rittner School for Early Childhood Education, they always make time for story time.
From the top of your head
And today, these young kids are getting a lesson in self-esteem.
to the soles of your feet. You know, I hope that they begin to see themselves as valuable, that they matter.
Which shoes shall I choose with bottoms hard like steel?
Aja Owens and Adrian Draper are sisters and today's guest readers. They're also the authors of the books they are reading. They grew up in Jennings, and even when they had to stay put, it was reading and writing that took them places.
Honestly, I started writing on anything. I mean, I would write on a napkin, a receipt, you know.
It's almost like therapy for some people.
It is. It is because, you know, it's giving you permission to release.
But as they got older, they started to think about the children's books they used to read. And even the ones with illustrations lacked color.
We didn't really see a lot of characters that looked like us. And so it was important for us that as we're, one, sharing these narratives and these stories, that also the illustrations look like the kids that we either see or know or ourselves.
So which reading was the best for you?
So Owens and Draper started creating their own stories. Collectively, they've now published 5 children's books that reflect families and children of color.
It's not just African American characters or whatever, it's Hispanic characters, it's Asian characters. We just want to make sure that it's the same as what you see in your schools, in the community, in life, but not on the couch.
When they're not writing, they're working.
The shoes we will choose that makes us feel great.
Draper is an educator with the Pattonville School District.
To the world, you mean a lot.
And Owens is a community activist who's running for mayor of Jennings.
You are perfect in every way.
But the plan is for more books with the hope of passing their passion on.
You are beyond special.
To more kids.
Learn to love words, learn to love expressing yourself, love to, you know, just value who you are.
Say, rock what you got.
Rock what you got.
Children's book authors Aja Owens and Adrian Draper.
We had a rock star with the kid with the skeleton shirt on.
Writing new chapters on the importance of being different together.
Yeah. It was so fun.
Oh my God. Well, this has been quite a conversation. How hopeful are you for the future and our world and how people who look like us live in it?
I'm excited for it, even though I don't know what I'm getting into. I don't know what school I've decided to go to yet. I just know with prayer and just with all the people around me, I'm gonna get somewhere.
I hope that like in the end, or like in the near future, that there will be a change, like the way people view us, and like they'll accept us, like finally accept us for who we are. Even if they don't, like continue to be you, continue to embrace yourself, and continue to embrace like the things you do.
Kyle?
I would say the same things that Dr. Martin Luther King said in his I Have a Dream speech is the things that I'm hopeful for to this day. The different things and taking care of yourself, and that's something that I still struggle with, but I'm trying to improve it. Taking care of yourself so that you can take care of others.
Just looking around this room, being surrounded by other black unicorns, intelligent, driven, inspiring young black people, I'm very hopeful for the future, knowing that this only represents a small portion of like the people out there just in the St. Louis community and Missouri and even in the United States. So knowing that these are the people that hold our future, I feel very comfortable.
So I'm hopeful for the future, especially like being around like-minded people. So if we get like more people like this, it will bring a faster and bigger change.
Kind of going off of what India said, having like-minded people, really hopeful that we will all come together eventually.
When I see like my younger peers like influenced and see what I do to achieve my dreams, and they feel like inspired to do so, and so it's like seeing these little kids like give me compliments. And it's like, oh, you're so cool, this, that, and the other. And they don't see the struggles I have to go through to get to that point. Man, I'm really doing something in this world then. If these little kids who don't know any better really think I'm doing something, then I guess I really am doing something.
For me, I believe that the future is every step you take. So my advice to everybody here is keep doing what you're doing. You know, every day you wake up, that agenda starts. That milestone that you're trying to reach, you one step closer to it. Those kids that you influencing, they're one step closer to their future.
We want to thank you for joining us for Race, Listen, Learn, Live. Listening to teenagers get real when it comes to race and how it affects their lives. The hope is that we use this discussion to foster a better understanding about the challenges facing African American youth. And with that perspective, work to make a better future for every child, regardless of race.